On Saturday, the 7th of September 2020, my good friend and fellow Minecraft player Adam created an SMP. The name of the server had not yet been decided, but would soon be influenced by the beautiful spawn region and land formations around it. Immediately, factions were created. Me, not wanting to be under any jurisdiction or leader, decided to create an independent state which I would call the Freelance. Adam was a ruthless killer. I set up base far away enough from spawn so not to give the impression I was siding with Adam, but not too far so I could easily navigate to and from the area. But I knew that Adam would progress when I wasn't on, and would get even more powerful, so I stopped building the stone walls and focused on gaining materials and resources. A week after the server's birth, a new member was to join. We knew him as Regal Vermin. With years of hardcore Minecraft under his belt, he would be an extremely valuable asset for whom he'd choose to side with. He sided with me, to fight for the Freelance. But as the next number of weeks passed, he never came on. The threat of Adam was growing higher. I remember the fear that he struck into me, and how defenseless I truly was. My protection when armor would not be enough to deflect the blow of his netherite sword, and if the sharpness didn't kill me, the fire would. Then a day came around, a day like any other. I logged on and checked my chests for stolen goods. None. At this point, Adam had just made full netherite. Only days earlier, the advancement appeared in the chat and the fear of his power rose again. But this day was not a normal day after all. At 6 o'clock, late September 2020, my mother had just called me for dinner. I, in the rush of it, went to log out but misclicked, and instead of disconnecting, I went into options, and I was AFK in the middle of an open field, an easy target for Adam to assassinate. Clean. No issues. No pain. I came back from dinner later to find my body dead. Killed a while ago. Immediately, I knew it happened and knew what it meant. I had to start again. He stole my items, armor, and weapons. But I was wrong. I looked to the chat to see if Adam had logged off, but where my kill message was, instead of saying slain by Adam, it had said slain by Spider. Adam had not logged off. In fact, there he was, standing directly in front of me holding a purple shulker box. He dropped it and flew away. All my items were in there. Not a single dirt block was taken. I thanked him, and that's when it hit us. If Regal Vermin or any other members were to join, then they would be nothing if Adam and I were to combine forces and ally together. We were unstoppable. Not long after, I was full netherite and we headed to the end to get an elytra. Months passed. We were still the most powerful people on the server, but that was a given, because there was no opposition. Farms were built by us in this time. Free from threats of grief, we built. Gunpowder, paper, gold, hoglin, enderman. A location was also planned out for the mega empire we would soon build. But it was too much. Adam lost control. I knew that what he really desired wasn't companionship, it wasn't the feeling of joy when a mega base is completed or a mining session is over, no. Adam desired chaos, a born fighter, leader, and an unstoppable worker, committed to any task, no matter how large. Starved of violence and his greed for destruction overpowering, he turned on me. Up to this point, I knew he was becoming restless, so I planned and tried to prepare for anything that could happen. But I didn't know what. I spent hours collecting materials and building a now torn down bunker in case worst came to worst. And it did. On Thursday the 17th of December, I received this text from Adam, saying that he had news. I did as well. A plan was in the works to lay 7 stacks of TNT under the Freelance to completely remove all attempts at opposition. This plan came into fruition, but never made a dent in the alliance between Adam and I. Adam went on to further explain in the text that he would be causing massive war, and I agreed. Life on the SMP was getting boring. Little did I know that the war would be declared against me. Earlier that day, I had asked if he could whitelist my very close friend, Ghost, to ally with me and hopefully create an opposition against him. He continued his text by saying that me and them could team and recruit others, but in the end he will have power. I believed him. My memories of the first days of the SMP came back to me. The fear that he'd be around the corner, axe raised, ready to strike once again flooding my brain. The text continued, Adam taunting me further about his power. He knew he achieved his goal, to scare me away from fighting. When these texts were sent, I was on at the time, trying out my new trident, thousands of blocks away, exploring the world that I never got to see before. He logged on. I was 2,500 blocks away. I used the trident to get back as fast as I possibly could. He knew where my personal home was, and all it took was a short stroll through the woods and under the sea, handing all of my hard-earned riches to him in a heartbeat. Thankfully, I got back in time, and as fast as I could, I raided all of my chests and stuffed everything I could into shulkers and putting them into my ender chest. I was still scared of him, but this time I was stronger. He confronted me face to face, swimming through the entrance and simply standing there. He made no advancement, but instead called me. I made a deal with him that I would leave the spawn area and never plot against him again. I searched thousands of blocks away for a place that I could build a base, a sanctuary where I could plan and prepare, only rivaling the one that we planned only weeks ago. I started getting even more materials, enchanting more and more items, 5 sets of maxed armor, 5 sets of tools and weapons, and Blackstone bunker to store it all in. For 3 weeks after this betrayal by Adam, nobody was on the server. It was desolate. But only 2 days ago, something happened that changed the server's history forever. And a perfect display of Adam's confidence and pure recklessness. I logged on to find myself about 1,000 blocks away from spawn. I had been practicing my trident ender pearling between the area from spawn and my bunker. I'd used my trident to make my way back to spawn, only to discover something that made me freeze. A week earlier, I had been notified that Adam's friend had joined. This led me to believe that maybe he had done this. The incident I'm talking about, the crime, the sight that shook me to my core was this. The entire spawn area had been annihilated. A massive crater stood where I stood when I had logged on for the very first time all those months ago. I thought this was the end until now.